All right, let's move on to the Pac-12, which, in my opinion, Aaron, the most wide-open conference. Yeah. I could talk myself into USC. I could talk myself into Oregon. I could talk myself into Washington. I could talk myself into Utah. I don't see another conference out there in America.
You could talk yourself into Oregon State if you wanted to.
I can't quite do that because they lost so much defensively. But I love Oregon State. I just can't get there with them. But still, whatever. 4 teams, 5 teams, still way more than any other conference that you could talk your way into. Aaron, who wins this thing?
God, I'm less optimistic about Washington than you are. Because I like Penix Jr. I love the receivers. Obviously, they just lost one of their running backs yesterday to a season-ending injury. We talk about issues on defense. They had just as many issues on defense, and there was improvement through the offseason. But I think USC made bigger improvements when it comes to elite talent on the defense side of the football.
Yeah,
like guys that can play on Sunday. Where you're like, okay, if you can put it together, which I'm hoping they do, I think their defense will rise faster than Washington. And I think Caleb Williams, for how good Michael Penix Jr. is, I think Caleb Williams is just that much better. He's a transcendent football player. So I that's why I'm kind of pushing Washington aside. I think Oregon's is going to be a complete football team, though. You look at Bo Nix, you look at what they returned at the skill position. I know they lost a lot of offensive line, but they went out there and added 3 big-time transfers at the offensive line position. Everything you're hearing from camp is the offensive line is going to be fine. They're 7-8 deep. They will be good there. And Dan Lanning and his background as a defensive guy and a defense coordinator, that the defense will improve. So to me, it's a 2-man race between USC and Oregon right now. I don't have Washington in it. I don't have Utah in it. I think
any worries about Kenny Dillingham not being at Oregon? Because both at Auburn and Oregon, Bo Nix is at his best when Kenny Dillingham is pulling the strings.
I am a little bit concerned there, but I think Bo Nix has played enough football where I think I've seen enough of him to know that he can manage it. He's a football kid. He grew up with, sucking the teat of a football since he was 1 year old. The guy knows X's and O's. I think he can handle a little bit of a change after playing 48 games of college football.
That's kind of funny. So he just started breastfeeding at 1.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't sucking the teat pre-1 at 1 year old. That's when
he was sucking the teat, but at 1, the mom was, tired of him sucking her teat. So then he just she gave him football.
She plays with football. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought I was calling you out, and now I'm the asshole because that actually makes perfect sense from a timing perspective. So I apologize, Aaron. That's a great call. Focusing on Oregon here, Texas Tech week 2 in Lubbock. Weird game. Oregon wins. But week 2's early, a lot to work on. You always improve the most between week 1 and week 2. Sure, yes. But week 2, you still got a lot of improvement left to be done. And Lubbock's weird. Just something to watch there. You get USC, Oregon State at home, Utah, Washington on the road. So a bit of a wash when you're talking about the big 4 that you're going to have to go against. I can feel some momentum moving Oregon's way in terms of being the Pac-12 favorite. But as much as I like Dan Lanning, when you compare it to the Caleb Williams, Dan Lanning, Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley combination, I still have to choose USC.
No, I would still choose USC
to win the Pac-12 here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would still choose USC. It's still amazing to me that Vegas has essentially no team in the Pac-12 going to the playoffs.
Well, because they're all going to fuck each other.
I know it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah,
I'm hoping. If Caleb just becomes even a little bit better, just a tad bit better, to me, they have the opportunity to.
How are USC's weapons this year, Aaron? You lose Jordan Addison, you lose.
They got the top kid from Arizona who led the Pac-12 in receptions.
Okay,
you're good at the running back position. You got the kid from USC, the other USC, to replace Dye. I think receivers they'll be fine. Are they going to be Ohio State? Are they going to be Texas? Are they going to be LSU? I don't think there, but they also have, once again, a quarterback that can make those guys better, a guy that can extend the play, a guy that can put the ball in the money anywhere on the football field. So, and you have the best offensive mind as the play caller as well. So I think between Caleb and Lincoln and a couple of the top weapons, I'm not worried about the offense. This offense will be just as good, if not better than they were last year. This is it's straight on the defense. Can you go from 29 points a game to 24 points a game? That's it. That's all you got to do.
I mean, there's nowhere to go but up right, for this
You would hope
defense.
so.
Like, they should be better. Alex Grinch, as you
Who will
said,
be a
at
better defense
Oklahoma
this
was
year, USC or Oklahoma?
USC. Also, the Big 12's got an even
That
worse
now that to me, sorry to bring back Oklahoma, but if you're Brent Venables and in year 2 you are 7-5, 8-4, and you look over at USC and Lincoln Riley and say they win the Pac-12 and their defense improves to about 24 points per game,
it's a bad feeling.
That is
if
when
you're a Sooner.
Oklahoma fans get really pissed off. And you may see him get that axe before they move to the SEC. Like they're going to have an eye on USC in that defense, and they're going to see
as they should, as they absolutely
know.
should. Yes. Now for me with the USC defense, so I will say this because I'm getting a lot of shit on the home front for being a little Trojan boy. Bear Alexander, Anthony Lucas, these big time recruits out of high school, fucking prove it. Okay, Alex Grinch, go prove it. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here again because it's almost impossible to be worse. Go prove it. But for me, USC, it's quite simple, really. Best quarterback in the country, top 5 coach in the country. That's going to solve 99% of your problems right there.
Yes.
What doesn't, though, Aaron, the only thing that gives me pause is I think USC maybe has the hardest stretch of schedule in the entire country. They have an early bye week, like after week 3, which always sucks, the worst. Then, look at this, to close out the year, Aaron, at Notre Dame, home Utah, at Cal, who they struggled against last year, home Washington, at Oregon, UCLA. That is a 6-game stretch with no real breaks. Cal the closest to a break, but it's away and it's against a traditional rival. Like, that's awful. And I don't think USC can handle that to the tune of a playoff appearance. But
so you're thinking no playoff appearance for a Pac-12
like a
team.
2-loss Pac-12 champion, USC. But if they can handle that, Caleb Williams wins the Heisman again for the second year in a row.
Well, Jake Butt in our butt session, I thought said it well. What? I mean, the only way for him to win the Heisman, because Dan Mullen kind of laid it out for us yesterday on the show, which he's like, it's impossible. If Tebow couldn't have won it twice, no one's going to win it twice. What if you do lead USC to a playoff appearance, and you would obviously have to win the Pac-12 to get there. If USC is 11-1, 12-0, wins the Pac-12, and you put up the same stats you did last year, someone else better have one hell of a season to overthrow you, because then at that point, I think you have to vote him as the Heisman winner. Like you said, well, he left that little carrot of there's still something left to be achieved.
Take by butt.
And if I do that, plus put up the stats, it's hard to argue with that at that point.
It's a good butt take, Jake.
It's a great butt take.
Colorado, we got to talk about him because, prime effect. Randy Cross. You know who Randy Cross is, Aaron?
I love Randy Cross.
Randy Cross, a legend. Yeah, that's right. CBS. Lives in Georgia. I grew up with him, actually, neighbor. But Randy Cross saying that Colorado is going to beat TCU week 1. I don't agree, but again, Randy's a college football Hall of Famer, 3-time Super Bowl champion of those legendary Niners team, played center. I'd say he knows way more football than he'll forget more than I'll ever know. So so the prime hype is not just like us, my dumbass never played in the NFL, rotational O lineman self saying this. Like, these are some legends of the game buying into Colorado. That said, you look at Colorado's schedule, it looks like a guaranteed 1-4 start. You got 50-50 games in Stanford, Arizona State, Arizona, Washington State. So you got to beat. I guess I kind of approach this where I remember I put a big bet on them to go over 4.5 one day this offseason. I got excited. I might as well have burned that money. There is no fucking chance Colorado's getting to 5 wins.
I don't know, man. I'm not going to put it past them to possibly win one of those first 2 games.
Show me the wins.
Show you the wins.
Five ranked teams.
I do think there's enough talent on the roster to split one of the first 2. But I will say the first 2 are losses. Or Colorado State's the first one. It is more likely than not that they're 1-4, like you.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
1-4. So we're 4 more wins.
Yeah,
they can beat Stanford. They can beat Arizona State. That's 3.
Okay.
They can beat Arizona. That's 4. And it's going to be at Washington State.
Exactly. So you want them to go 4-4 in their 50-50 games. That's my point. You want them to go 4 of 4 in the 50-50 games. Like,
Yeah.
I think Arizona State with Kenny Dillingham's kind of interesting. Jaden Rashada, our guy, just got named the
I do.
starter. Is
No,
overall
Jaden Delora.
No,
Oh,
that's
Jaden,
Arizona.
I'm thinking Arizona. My bad. Yes.
No, shout out
Jaden
Jaden
Rashada. I
Rashada.
don't love that at all. The little
What?
twig of a quarterback.
Okay,
Good
relax,
for him.
relax.
Hey, it's a great
All I'm
story.
saying is
Good
it's a
for
great
him.
story. Everybody was shitting on him, and he went out there and he earned the starting job. Kenny Dillingham's got a bit of a quarterback whisperer resume. Like, I guess the point, Washington State was really good last year. Cam Ward's a great quarterback. Jaden Delora, Arizona's a great quarterback. I don't think Stanford's going to be that good, but I like their head coach, the offensive theorist, the madman. So my point is, you're telling me for me to win my bet, Colorado's got to go 4 of 4 on the 50-50 games? I just don't feel good about it,
I think the key to winning the bet is they have to win. They have to split one of the first 2 games.
Here's my question to you.
That's it.
Maybe Shadur is that guy in the P5. Maybe he's not. Maybe Dion brought Louis. Maybe he brought, Chinatown knockoffs. If they go 4-8, how should Colorado fans feel? Okay, that's what
hell of a season.
Okay, you think so?
Okay, I think 4-8 is incredible.
I don't think,
especially if Shadur plays well,
are out of control. I can't give them.
I think if Shadur plays well and you're 4-8, but you guess what? If you're Deion Sanders and you have 4-8 in your first season, a team that was average loss of 28 points per game last season, which is just crazy. 111 lose by average 28 points. It's unheard of. You go 4-8 and you show some sort of competitiveness and games. You're about to enter the Big 12, which will be at that point significantly easier than the conference you're in right now. I think you can sell that. I think he's still going to be a hell of a guy on the recruiting trail. Has another offseason to bring in guys in the portal. Has another offseason to bring in guys when it comes to high school rankings. I think that's a win for Colorado.
Okay.
I think I was going to say 3, but I think 3 is a block. I think 4. I think 4 is a win.
It cannot be
4 is you're celebrating that Deion Sanders has us going the right direction next season. If you go 4, I have a great feeling that Colorado is going bowling the following season.
So 4 would be the minimum of what you need to see. Okay, that's probably fair. Real quick, before we close out our Pac-12 talk, I do want to say this. Even though my mind is with USC, my heart remains with Washington. I'm left-handed. I love Michael Penix Jr. He's left-handed. All him and Kalen DeBoer do when they get together is just sling the fucking rock. The only thing that's holding me back is they open with Boise, which, again, I don't even know how good Boise is, but because I grew up when I did, like if you're my age range, you just probably will always think that Boise's good. Yep. So they open with Boise. Week 3, they're at Michigan State, which is really how they kind of started to assert themselves last year. But still, it's not an easy game that early on. And then to end the year, they have nearly as bad a stretch as USC does. They're at USC, home Utah, at Oregon State, home Washington State. That's tough. And again, you mentioned it, but it's the awful, awful, awful omen of losing running back Cam Davis for the year as a true freshman last year, had 13 touchdowns on the ground, 500 yards, averaged 5 yards a carry. They also lost a starting lineman for the entire year. So, to win these things, especially in a conference like the Pac-12, you got to have luck. And that's just an awful start for the Huskies. But that is where my heart is, okay? I bleed purple and burnished gold. Know that, Washington fans. Like, I think USC is going to win, but fuck him, okay? I don't want to be doing V for victory, okay? I want to be barking. I'll be howling at the moon with you.
This is my goal the entire season right here, T-Bob, right here.